The nail salon tech asked why someone else has been using my appointment slot for months. I stared at Vivian, my regular technician for 3 years, completely bewildered by her question. What do you mean someone else? I asked, gripping my purse tighter. I haven't been here since August because of my surgery. Vivian's face went pale as she pulled out the appointment book, flipping through months of entries with my name, my phone number, my signature. You've been here every 2 weeks like clockwork, she insisted, showing me the records. Same French tips, same pale pink polish. You even tipped the same amount. My stomach churned as I examined the signatures. They were perfect replicas of mine, down to the way I loop my letters. That's impossible, I whispered, but Vivian was already pulling up security footage on her tablet. The woman on the screen had my exact hairstyle, wore my favorite designer jacket, carried the same limited edition handbag my mother had given me for my birthday. But her face was always turned away from the camera or obscured by sunglasses and a mask. She knows everything about you, Vivian said quietly. Your daughter's college applications, your husband's promotion, even your mother's hip surgery. We thought you were just being extra chatty lately. The violation felt like ice spreading through my veins. I immediately called my credit card company, but there were no fraudulent charges. Whoever this woman was, she'd been paying cash for my appointments. The next revelation came when I checked with other businesses I frequented. My yoga instructor mentioned I'd seemed different lately, less flexible but more talkative. The coffee shop barista said I'd switched from my usual oat milk latte to regular milk 3 months ago. My dry cleaner complimented my weight loss, which made no sense since I'd actually gained 10 pounds during recovery. Someone had been living a parallel version of my life, learning my routines, studying my habits, becoming me in every way except actually being me. I filed a police report, but Detective Harrison seemed skeptical until I showed her the salon's appointment records. Identity theft usually involves financial fraud, she said. This is something else entirely. Has anyone shown unusual interest in your life recently? That's when I remembered Teresa from my book club, who joined right before my surgery. She'd been fascinated by every detail of my life, asking about my routines, my favorite places, even borrowing clothes that looked similar to mine. I'd been flattered by her attention, thinking I'd found a new friend who admired my style. Detective Harrison ran Teresa's name and discovered she didn't exist. The address she'd given was a vacant office building. Her phone number was a burner that had been disconnected. The woman who'd infiltrated my book club had been studying me like a scientist observing a specimen. The investigation revealed something even more disturbing. Teresa, whose real name was Diana, had done this before in 3 other cities. She'd find successful women, study them obsessively, then live parallel lives using their identities without ever stealing money. Psychologists called it identity parasitism, a rare disorder where someone couldn't form their own identity and instead borrowed others' lives. The breakthrough came when Vivian called me, breathless with excitement. She's here! Your appointment is now! I raced to the salon with Detective Harrison, arriving just as Diana was settling into my chair. Seeing her up close was like looking at a distorted mirror. She'd dyed her hair my exact shade, wore my signature lipstick, even had a replica of my wedding ring. When she saw me, Diana didn't run. She smiled sadly and said, I knew this day would come. You have such a beautiful life. I just wanted to borrow it for a while. Her confession was heartbreaking and horrifying. She'd lost her own identity after a traumatic brain injury and found that mimicking others gave her a sense of self she couldn't create alone. Detective Harrison arrested Diana gently, almost sympathetically. She received 2 years of house arrest with mandatory psychiatric treatment. The court ordered her to stay 500 feet away from me and banned her from any establishment I frequented. But I couldn't shake the feeling of being haunted by my own ghost. I changed salons, altered my routines, even considered moving. 6 months later, I still check security cameras wherever I go, wondering if someone else is out there, watching, learning, preparing to become me. The truth is, identity isn't just about documents and finances. It's about the small details that make us who we are. And Diana had stolen those pieces of me I'll never quite get back.